Hi, I'm Kylie. You're watching Testoria with Ben from Testoria and Kate from Green and Blues.
Indeed.
And a crazy looking bottle here of Chenin Blanc.
It is a crazy looking bottle
love
from
it.
a gentleman who is famous for his bottles and his back labels, namely Mr. Randall Graham. Thank you very much, Ben.
My pleasure.
What he is going to be doing shortly, which is a very interesting development in the world of wine and is already causing huge consternation, is he's decided to put ingredient labeling on his wine bottles. Principally because he wants to, that's coming, he's not quite there at the moment, but principally because he feels that too many people are getting away with murder, quite frankly, you know, adding tannin, adding flavouring agents, adding all sorts of things. And because he has now, this vineyard is organic, it's not biodynamic, but he is slowly converting all his vineyards to biodynamic. And he is going for the absolute, complete non-interventionist winemaking approach. He wants to be able to put on his labels grapes, which is fantastic, and maybe some sulfur with some of them, but you know, that is really it. Chenin is not a grape variety that is very associated.
Chenin Blanc, for some reason I think of it as like a house wine or a cheap wine. I
well,
don't know why, I just kind of have that preconception of Chenin
that's
Blanc.
almost certainly because a lot of cheap house wine is Chenin Blanc from South Africa.
Okay.
It's a very widely grown grape variety in South Africa, and
Okay.
it's only very recently that they've started to show it a bit of respect and make some better examples. For years it was what they used for their house wine.
But also,
underachiever,
the point is,
Yes.
and this is what, it doesn't make me cross because I don't really care that much, but it's exactly right. When you grow grapes in the southern hemisphere or the New World, which as far as I'm aware has been around for as long as the old world, but anyway, you can call your wine by the grape variety that you made it from. Okay, so it's Chenin Blanc, so it's Chenin Blanc. But in the home of Chenin Blanc, where it really originates and makes the greatest wines in the world, I think, you know,
Where is that?
probably in the Loire Valley,
Okay.
which is in the northern French region of France. It makes wines that are named after the geographical location of their. So, for example, let me give you an example now. Saumur Blanc is made from Chenin Blanc, and now Saumur Blanc you can buy quite widely from £4.50 to £10 or £20 if you really want to spend a lot of money. And it's unbelievably good expression of Chenin Blanc grown on this amazing tufa soil, which is like limestone, very young limestone soil, and it gives these wines incredible minerality and chalky texture, but they're fresh and beautiful, apples and pears. And then you also have Vouvray, and that's a dry, sweet, medium sweet, or you can also have sparkling Vouvray. And you also then have Côte de Léon, and anyway, all these areas within the Loire Valley that are made from Chenin Blanc, but they don't call them Chenin Blanc. In the same way that Chablis is made from Chardonnay, Puy-Fumé is made from Sancerre. Suddenly, I just said Puy-Fumé, I suddenly thought of Didier Dagenot, who died the other day. Moment of silence. Very, that's fine, but very sad, because he was a real organista, brilliant winemaker, unbelievable guy, massive beard, awesome. But he made wines from Sauvignon Blanc. The point is that most people don't know anything about grape varieties from French regions because they're called after the geographical.
We're not in France with this wine, though, are we?
No.
Where are we?
Well, we're in Washington State.
Interesting.
Which is
not
it is
well known
interesting.
for its wine at all.
It's not actually. They do actually make a fair amount of wine up in Washington. You know, compared to Oregon, which is sort of the state just below it, where they make very little wine. There are some quite big bulk producers there. It's a very specific growing climate in Washington. Because it's semi-desert, it's incredibly hot days and very cold nights, and it's quite a short growing season. So the wines from there are mainly known for intensity. And I think it's no surprise that actually there's Chenin grown there, because Chenin naturally has quite good acidity.
Okay.
And if you do have this heat, you know, you need the grape to have some sort of natural freshness, so it doesn't become gloopy and overripe and quite unpleasant to drink. Having said that, Washington State does have cooler nights. So the combination of the natural acidity in the Chenin plus the cooler nights, and when you're growing grapes, during the growing season, what really holds on to acidity is coolness. Which is
Okay.
why you always find grapes that are grown maybe near the sea if there's nice cool breezes, or in a place where it gets cooler at night, like a lot of Spain. They might have very intense flavours, but they've got good acidity.
So this is a good example of a Chenin Blanc. If
Well-
I have never had a Chenin Blanc before, I don't know if I have. If I was to taste this, this would be a quintessential Chenin Blanc.
I think in the fact that it's got a very honeyed flavour,
Okay.
and it's got good acidity. Yes,
It's got lots of melon, like
It has, hasn't
immediately,
it?
like
Yes.
a honeydew melon.
absolutely.
Then
Funny.
what would you say, like tasting it for the guys at home watching, like a
Well,
little bit of a taste?
Luckily, for all of you and everyone at home, I am really knowledgeable on Chenin Blanc
Yes.
because I've just had a big tasting of Chenin Blanc, and what's really worrying me is I can't remember any of it, and it was only yesterday. No, it's funny, when it's in the Loire Valley, it has this piercing acidity, and we all talk about malolactic fermentation.
I've never talked about that. Ever.
you?
I've never even heard of it. Malolactic
Well,
fermentation,
let's
word of the
start
day.
now. Well, malolactic fermentation, malic acid is one of the principal acids found in grape must, grape juice, grapes, and then you ferment it, and then you do a secondary bacterial fermentation which changes the lactic acid into malic acid. No, you don't. You change the malic acid, which is the acid you get in sort of apples, very sharp, piercing, higher pH, into a lower pH, into malic acid, to lactic acid.
You getting this at home?
You can see my MW acids, can't you? And then you turn that into that, and then you cross that out, and the examiner's going, who the hell is this?